lost cosmonauts. So we all know that the USSR was the first country to successfully send someone to space in 1961. The key word there is successfully, right? Because people think that Yuri Gagarin was not the first person in space, that he was just the first one to make it out alive.
What you lose?
All right, how you guys doing? Today, you see the title. We're just talking about stuff, theories and whatnot, and amongst other things, still life and whatnot. So, I guess you guys are just tuning in. I guess that's really all that's really about to happen. You can play the video whenever you like.
There's a theory that says that other cosmonauts were sent to space, but they just died in the vacuum. A Czech communist insider leaked names of at least 4 cosmonauts who supposedly perished in space. Then there was these 2 Italian radio operators who allegedly recorded a number of Russian space mission broadcasts without anybody's knowledge, which they later publicly released. You can actually find one of them on YouTube. Russia has never publicly addressed these recordings, but I mean, it's not that much of a stretch, to be honest. The Soviet space program was no stranger to casualties. There were at least 3 separate incidents where people lost their lives working with rockets, including the Nedelin disaster, which claimed the lives of around 100 people after a Russian rocket exploded on the landing pad. Solipsism is the idea that the only thing you know for sure that exists is your own mind and your own thoughts, and everything outside of that is unknowable, therefore possibly fake. Like, you can't read other people's minds, so who's to say that these people can even think?
So
who's to say that they're even real? You don't know. All you know is that you can think and feel, and that's it. This is another one of those philosophical ideas that's probably best not.
in Rick and Morty, when they were trying to get the code, like those aliens were trying to get the code from Rick, and they put them in a simulation, and only shit that was in front of them spawned behind, like pretty much their 360 spawned in.
Oh, I know exactly what episode you're talking about. It was when they were trying to get the dark matter formula.
Yeah,
the
that's
fill.
what it was.
Those aliens. They were schemers in the fucking space. That is interesting. The problem with that is the simulation only could render but so much at a time. It only could handle but so much at a time, and they ended up overloading the simulation by getting so many.
Getting
people.
naked, no.
No, that's how they got the people to not want to keep watching them the whole time. But then they hosted a performance. They got all like the people in one place, and
it was too much. It overrode the system.
Because they were making music in that episode. They had them all on stage and shit, and they were all going crazy, and they started glitching it, and they broke out of the simulation type shit. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool episode. I don't remember exactly what season. I wouldn't want to.
It was probably early on, I'm pretty sure. Not too early.
Think about too much. My red is not your red. All this is saying is that, when I look up at the sky, I see this. But to you, it may look like this. But neither of us have any idea because of our perception. So to me, the sky might be blue. You might see it as what I perceive as red. But to you, it's still blue. Did that make any sense? I don't know. Let's move on. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. I probably should have looked it up before I started recording. Oumuamua is the first interstellar object to have been detected in our solar system. NASA scientists haven't been able to figure out what the heck this thing is. Is it a comet? Is it an asteroid? Is it a giant cigar? It's hard to decipher due to its weird shape and behavior. But there's a third option. And I think you know where I'm going with this. It has to be. The King in the North. Now, before you say anything, no, this has nothing to do with Game of Thrones. Now, if you guys can recall back to 6th grade history class, civilization is thought to have began in modern-day Iraq around 10,000 years ago. But according to this theory by British author and Joe Rogan orbiter Graham Hancock, there was an advanced civilization that predated Mesopotamia that existed in the North Pole. A lot of ancient cultures have tales about a great city in the north. For the Greeks, it was Hyperborea. For the Romans, it was Thule, Utakaru in Hindu cosmology, and the list goes on. True believers in this civilization say that these stories are more than stories, that this is a kingdom to the north that was destroyed by an unknown catastrophe, Atlantis style, and over time, fact turned to legend. Pretty interesting, if you ask
That
me.
counterfits with some other theories out there.
Exactly. And that, you know what that made me think of? Like, you know how Santa is supposed to be from the North Pole and shit, and he brings gifts and shit on the same day Christ is supposed to be born. You know, it's just all that I just feel like it's a lot of odd, like, things, you know? And it's supposed to be
revolving around there. It's supposed to be a magical place.
Right.
But we're not allowed to go there either.
Strange. Strange, right?
Yeah.
What you think?
I wonder what truly is there.
No cap.
Probably the most terrifying thought experiment ever. So let's say in the future there is a powerful evil AI that takes control of the world, like Ultron. This AI could theoretically punish people who did not support or actively help in bringing it into existence, which means that even knowing about it and not actively participating in its creation could make you a victim of the AI's wrath.
What's up?
What's up?
Sorry.
Where you
Hidden
going? I heard a knock.
A man from China discovered a rock.
I bet you I know what it is.
Ordinary rock.
What is it?
This
Taco Bell.
was a boulder.
Nah? Oh.
This boulder had fallen to the ground.
It's
and solid
Crunchies? No.
Inside of it were 6 Chinese characters
Torchies
that read,
tacos.
"The Chinese Communist Party will perish."
Social credit deducted.
Now, when I saw this, my first thought was, well, that's probably just some graffiti, right? Somebody etched it into the rock. Wrong.
Now you read it. Shit.
Researchers at the Guizhou University of Technology studied this stone and found that there is no trace of artificial carving, shaping, or etching. This stone is naturally formed. And not only that, but the stone is over 270 million years old, which honestly is not that impressive because I feel like most stones are like really old. Archimedes' heat ray. So Archimedes is known as the greatest mathematician of all time. Like, this dude basically invented math. So fuck him. From being a big brain math head, Archimedes was also an inventor, and he invented a device known as a heat ray, which apparently used mirrors that directed sunlight in such a way that it would burn anything that was pointed at, like a laser gun. And this weapon was used on ships attacking his hometown of Syracuse. Allegedly, right? We don't really know if that's
You're defending it with
thing
such
actually
grace,
existed or
bro.
not. Some people think it was real, others don't. There's no actual evidence of it.
I mean,
other than accounts written
It's
thousands of
not
years ago by
too
other
absurd
people. The
for it to be
phantom
real.
time hypothesis.
Right.
You
Isn't
need some kind of magnification.
isn't that how they said they destroyed like 40% of the Amazon forest or some shit? That's how they did it a couple years back.
I guess so. I didn't know that.
I swear I heard something about that.
Never existed. And all because some royal schmuck wanted to live in the year 1000. That's what German historian Herbert Illig thinks. If you look at a history book, aka Wikipedia, you'll see that the Holy Roman Emperor Otto III ruled from 996 to 1002. But Illig believes that he actually lived in the 700s, but he really wanted to live in the year 1000, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to live in 1000? It's a nice round number. So
right.
he decided that he was going to
It was gonna be the first 1,000, bro. Think about it.
That is you're right. The first millennium is crazy.
Yeah.
peasants, so he could easily get away with it. So the years between 1614 and 911 never happened. All the history we learned from this time was invented by Otto. Charlemagne, who we believe to have been the Holy Roman Emperor in the 700s, wasn't actually real. He was everything Otto wishes he was. So he created this idealized version of himself for the history
What's
books.
up,
I mean, this
the
seems
cat
pretty
sis?
far-fetched.
How you
So what is
doing?
Illig's
What up, bro?
evidence? Well, he says the years before 1614 were full of historically significant events. Same with the years after 911. But not so much was going on in between that time. No major advancements were made, and not a lot of archaeological discoveries have been found from that time period. Tesla was from Venus. Nikola Tesla was one of the smartest and most enigmatic people in history. With a big brain like that, it's almost like he was from a different planet or something. Well, maybe he was. The FBI had a lot of files on Tesla, which recently became declassified. In one of them, you can find the following. The space people have visited Tesla engineers many times and have told Tesla he was a Venusian, brought to this planet as a baby in 1856 and left with Mr. and Mrs.
These are
Tesla
official
in the
documents,
mountain
just saying.
province that is now in Yugoslavia. Now, I could probably debunk this right now, but I'm not gonna, because it's cooler to think that it's true. Pre-hominid civilizations. This is just a theory that before the rise of humans, there were other, possibly advanced non-human civilizations on Earth. Like, there was an evolved race of lizard people, but not the same lizard people that currently control the world. And these lizard beings would have lived like
if you know, you
millions of
know.
years ago.
You said,
so
I'm good.
evidence
How
of their
whack are we getting
existence
today?
by now would be
Quite.
incredibly rare if they were existence.
I don't know if you can hear the video. You have to let me know
Just talked about this
if
in
it's
my
loud
last
enough.
video, so I'm not gonna
But yeah,
rehash it
we're
too
tuning
much.
in.
But this
Just
guy,
calm down.
Andrew D. Basiago, claims to have been part of a secret CIA program when he was a child that teleported him to Mars and sent him back in time. He also claims that Barack Obama was another one of the children who was in his program with them. Crystal skulls. So the terrible Indiana Jones film, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, is actually based on a real thing. Since the 1800s, these skulls have been turning up in random places around the world. One of them was found at an antique shop in Paris.
I found
another one
Raw
was bought at an
in my
auction,
bag.
and another one
I
was
ran out
mailed
of
to the
CDs.
Smithsonian by an unknown sender who claimed it
You
belonged to
wanna roll?
Mexican dictator.
You're gonna need to bring a grinder.
It's claimed that these skulls originate in
to
ancient
make it a real
Mesoamerica and that they have magical properties,
Yeah.
including
Yeah.
healing powers and
He'll
making
be back.
people who touch them see into the future. Scientists who have actually studied the artifacts say that they most likely came from Germany in the 1800s, but you can't trust those stupid science bitches. They don't know anything. Artificial petrification. I have no idea what this is talking about. Maybe he's talking about artificial penetration, in which case I do not want to elaborate. Piri-Reis map origin. The Piri-Reis map is a comprehensive map of the world that was made back in 1513 by Turkish Admiral Piri-Reis. It was the most accurate map at the time and used a lot of techniques that wouldn't become popular for another few hundred years. One weird thing about it is that it showed what looks like Antarctica, except there was no ice. And this was like 300 years before Antarctica was actually discovered. So who knows? Maybe Antarctica only recently became coveted.
I wish he was here to talk about this, but it's so crazy to think that there's ancient maps out there that outdate the discovery of Antarctica. Like how if they already found it in ancient times, how are they not already knowing about it when they rediscovered it? I guess. I don't know. It's just something to think about.
Nice after the Ice Age, you know, because remember we even talked about the Antarctic pyramid theory? So these could potentially be connected in some way? I don't know. Coast to Coast ex-military caller. So Art Bell, who was the conspiracy radio guy, hosted a show called Coast to Coast, and he had a segment on the show where he asked people that are current or former employees of Area 51 to call in and share some juicy details on what's really
missed a
happening.
good little part, but it's
On my
fine.
Area 51,
I get
you're on the air.
commentary.
Hello. Hello, Art? Yes.
What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor
You want me to
Oh, you said you want to go.
No, I asked if you got paper.
made contact with. They demonstrated a lot of
I could.
It's a better ratio, no?
Okay. Fair. This nigga.
major population
Well, this is the guy's guy. And then the guy's guy.
will be more easily controllable.
Wow.
Hey guys, I'm Matt
An
Spicer.
ad.
Yeah.
For Hobdaddy
Despicable.
Boulevard. Today we're gonna
Oh, God.
We are now on a backup system, everybody. A backup system. And that one caller that I had on the air, I guess we're about in the middle of his transmission, his telephone call, which was one of the strangest ones I've ever had. And the entire transmitting system by satellite went down here, and we were notified we were off the air.
Now, some comic book writer named Brian Glass claimed that he was the caller, but the weird thing about this thing is that the signal just dropped. Like, the whole signal dropped in the middle of the call with no explanation. And Brian Glass even said himself that he had no idea what that was all about. The Baghdad Battery. Baghdad, Iraq, 1938. A German archaeologist comes across a set of 3 artifacts dating back about 2,000 years. A clay pot, an iron rod, and some copper wire. When these 3 items were combined and acid was added inside the pot, it was shown to produce a small amount of electricity, which is where it gets its name, the Baghdad Battery. There's a ton of speculation on what this thing could have been used for. Like, these were primitive people. They didn't even have Fortnite. So what could they have needed electricity?
He just likes to get
Hey, he didn't have to
jokes.
take it there. Like, yeah. I'm not gonna cap. Fortnite is crazy.
Dendrolite. This is the Dendera Temple in Egypt, one of the most well-preserved ancient Egyptian structures. On one of the walls, you can find this motif. Now, this phallic-looking object is possibly an ancient
Look
light
at
bulb,
this.
according
A
to
serpent.
some. It resembles a
it's
Crookes
just a
tube,
snake,
which was
but-
like an early version of the light bulb. So it's possible that ancient civilizations were a lot more advanced than we think. Is it possible that the Dendrolite was hooked up to the Baghdad Battery? Or is this just evidence that Egyptians invented corn dogs thousands of years ago? The nuclear grid theory, otherwise known as free energy suppression, is a similar concept to how Big Pharma may have a cure for cancer, but they make more money off treating it. According to this theory, there exists a way to produce clean energy at an extremely low cost. But the big oil companies are suppressing it so that it doesn't see the light of day.
Just like
to
the car
protect
that
their
runs
bottom
on water.
line.
Everyone knows
Conspiracies are
about that
silent.
one.
This is like self-explanatory,
But
right? People think that
it's
these
gonna be
crazy
too cheap.
conspiracy theories are being
Yeah.
put out by governments to distract people from real stuff. Time Cube. The Time Cube theory comes to us from a website created in 1997 by self-proclaimed wisest man on earth, Gene Ray. Gene theorized that there are actually 4 separate days in one rotation of the Earth around the sun.
So, Gene, you say that's stupid because I believe that when the Earth rotates once, there's only one 24-hour day. But your time cube principle disputes this, no?
Right, it has 4 corners. When it shines at midday, the simultaneous creates a midnight. Where the 2 majors join, creates the 2 minors, the sun up and sundown. And each corner quadrant of Earth rotates to its own separate 24-hour days.
Well, the Earth is a sphere, though. It's not a cube.
It's composed of 4 quadrant corners. Each corner quadrant rotates in 4 different directions simultaneously. Toward midday, midnight, sun up and sundown. It rotates those directions simultaneously. Each one of them has its own separate day.
This is an explanation from Gene himself. If Earth stood still, it would have midday, midnight, sunup, and sundown as 4 corners. Each rotation of the Earth has 4 middays, 4 midnights, 4 sunups, and 4 sundowns. The 16 space-times demonstrates cube proof of 4 full
Yeah, I
days
don't really believe this
simultaneously
one.
on Earth with 1 full
It's
rotation.
not a cube.
Now, if you're confused about what this all means, you're not alone, because it makes no fucking sense. Like, the more you read through these incoherent ramblings, the less sense this theory makes. There's all sorts of diagrams and charts, but you know what? Maybe I'm just too brainwashed and stupid to get it, because in Gene's own words, the academic brainwashed mind is corrupt and can't comprehend cubic
They already talked about it
magnificence.
earlier,
Dang, man,
but I guess we can bring it up about the fluoride and your pineal. What's it called?
Pineal gland.
Pineal gland. Yeah.
How it calcifies your pineal gland.
Yeah.
That's why I use Wallada toothpaste. You guys should know very well by now. I've showed you guys many times. I brush my teeth on stream. You don't even need water for it, and it's fluoride free. Really good for you, all natural. I've been using it for years. So
I've seen somewhere that people had stopped giving it to their kids, and it's like night and day. Like they're completely different. I don't know.
says
Should
a
stop
lot.
with that fluoride.
Exactly.
Even though I still use it.
Degrees from DeVry University were completely pointless. Gene was so confident in his theory that he offered $10,000 to any academic that could disprove his theory.
Gene, how do you know this? What's your proof, scientifically speaking?
Well, it's in the cube. You can see it. You can't deny that. I offer any academic institution, any professor, $10,000 to disprove it. They can't disprove
which means it's true. So shout out to Dave. Phoenicians discovered America. So if you're American, you probably thought that this fella, Chris Columbus, discovered the Americas. Well, you're wrong. The Chad Viking explorer Leif Erikson discovered it 500 years before Columbus. But it's possible that somebody discovered it way before them, namely the Phoenicians. So the theory begins like this. Dighton Rock, a giant boulder discovered in 1680 that was covered in an unknown writing. Some people believe that this writing is Phoenician in origin, and honestly, it kind of makes sense. The Phoenicians were like the kings of the sea for hundreds of years, so it's not super unrealistic that they would have gone west till they found America. I mean, it probably didn't happen, but it's not impossible, is all I'm saying. The Toluca Valley Head is this sculpture that was found in an ancient burial site in Mexico. Now, at first glance, it looks like a sculpture from ancient Rome. So people say that the Romans came to America hundreds of years ago and left it behind. Others think that the statue was put there as a prank by archaeologists. And then, of course, there's the alien theory, because why not? Everything's fucking aliens. The Antikythera mechanism was an ancient Greek device that was found on a shipwreck in the Mediterranean Sea. Scientists believe it was created back in 200 BC, and it was composed of dozens of gears and functions sort of like a clock. And it was way ahead of its time. But what the heck is it? Scientists think it was used to predict the movement of planets and stars. But this thing leaves a lot of questions, like why was it the only known device of its kind, and why was it in a shipwreck at the bottom of the sea? Like, this was the most advanced thing in the ancient world. So maybe the ship carrying it was sunk on purpose. Maybe the device holds some kind of knowledge that we're not meant to know. If you look at the theories about this thing's origins, it's pretty much the usual suspects. It was left by a time traveler, it's alien tech, or the lizard people.
Why is there some books that are just banned to read?
It makes you think about that movie Fahrenheit 451, where they burnt all the books and created a new society where they're completely ignorant, unaware. And like it was illegal to read. Like that's weird. I mean, the main character's job was to burn books and find people that had books and burn them, eradicate them too. Let's not forget that.
They knew how to read.
Exactly, make them deadly.
They're just books. They're just words composed together.
Caveman Holocaust. This is more of a theory than a conspiracy theory. It just says that us, Homo erectus, killed off all the Neanderthals, and that's why there's no more Neanderthals. Mars is a warning. According to this theory, humans actually originated on Mars. At one point, maybe millions of years ago, Mars was an Earth-like planet. It had oceans, grass, and trees, possibly even Fortnite. But we humans fucked everything up. Its resources and nuked the whole planet. And Mars's red color is actually the result of the nuclear winter. Us modern humans are actually descendants of the humans who were able to escape Mars before things went nuclear. Now, this theory was put forth by a deleted TikTok made by this guy.
This is a jar of dirt.
Yes.
Is the jar of dirt going to help?
If you want it, give it back.
So, take it with a gram of salt. Google Earth black zones. So, this iceberg chart was made like 2 years ago, and back then there were several areas on Google Marks that were straight up blocked out,
Oh, yeah.
so you couldn't see them. Like Babylon, Iraq was one of them. The Hart facility was another one. But I checked, and most of these so-called black zones, they're no longer blacked out, so that was kind of dumb. Serpent seed is a Gnostic belief that Eve not only accepted an apple from the serpent in the Garden of Eden, but she also accepted something else.
One is bigger
If you
one.
know what I'm saying. The serpent seduced Eve, and they had an entanglement and produced a son
The whole,
who we
what?
now know as Cain. And Eve
A
would
little bit
later
over
go
a
on to
cube?
give birth to Abel with Adam.
It's
This
OC,
idea appears
is
in
what
the
it
Gnostic
is.
text, the Gospel of Philip, which says, first adultery came into being, afterward murder. And he, meaning Cain, was begotten in adultery, for he was the child of the serpent. So he became a murderer, just like his father, and he killed his brother. So Cain was basically born evil because his father was a snake, who is widely interpreted to be Satan, and that's why he killed his brother Abel. And by extension, all of Cain's descendants are also evil. Now, this idea has unsurprisingly been used to justify racism. People will claim that one group of people that they don't like are the descendants of Cain and therefore evil, and hating them is okay because they're the spawn of Satan. The Sea People were a group of raiders who attacked the major Bronze Age civilizations like the Egyptians and the Hittites around 1200 BC. Now, these guys were like the original Sigma males. They would show up out of nowhere, attack a city, take all their shit, and leave with no explanation. They were kind of like Vikings in that way.
Yeah, I was about to
And
say,
the
this is
historians
that
still
what the
have no
Vikings
clue
did.
who these people were, where they came from, how they were so successful in taking on some of the biggest
I mean,
empires
I
of the
think that's
time.
just a human
They've been
attribute
credited
or a
as a
trait, I
huge
guess,
factor in the collapse of
is
the
to
Hittite Empire,
conquer.
which was one of the biggest in the world at the time. It's believed that these
Well,
people
and-
were what was left
and
of
greed is
Atlantis
part of
after
it
got
because-
swallowed up by
Hey, turn
the
it
ocean. Hypersigils,
Keep going.
Okay. And greed is part of it because, like, why couldn't we just be happy where we were? Like, why do we gotta go and take that land and this land and that land and conquer everything? If we were all just humble, we would, obviously there would be world peace if everyone was humble. Did you have anything to say?
It shows a lot about what life is really about. When you fall victim to the 7 deadly sins, it's actually you losing awareness of your spirit, which is awareness of yourself. And when you lose awareness of yourself, you lose awareness of everyone else and just how important they are, because you really don't see clearly, and everyone's just a reflection of you, truly. So, yeah.
Symbol is basically a symbol that has some kind of magical power and they're used in occult practices. Here's an example of the most cursed sigil known to man. Looking at this for too
You know,
long
pause
will
it
make
again.
you want to commit unspeakable crimes. Hyper sigil is a more
My bad.
You know, it's hard to say. He's right, though. He's definitely right. It's instinctual for man to conquer, but human. See, there's a difference. You know what I'm saying? This is why the word
like humane.
humane. What is HU? HU is hydrogen in the periodic table of elements. That's in terms, layman's terms, light body, light man. So what is that really trying to get you? What is light? Light is awareness, information, knowledge. So what is that really telling you? That it's almost like people are man and spirit. So almost like an animal and something ethereal, both simultaneously. So to say, is it instinctual to conquer? Truly, yes. It's your animalistic instinct. But in a spiritual sense, in a sense of awareness, of information and knowledge, with which we have the ability to perceive such things because we're humans now and we have evolved to this degree, what does this really tell you? That there has to be a better way. Maybe people just haven't got to that level of figuring out how people can work together, and they've been so focused on how people can divide and fight each other. So, yeah, that's food for thought. Food for thought. So,
powerful version of a sigil, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a symbol. It can be like a song or, I don't know, man. This is some occult weirdo shit. I don't mess with this warlock nonsense. Trolls and goblins are Neanderthals. So the thing about myths and legends is that they're usually based on
pause
something,
it.
right? So
This is
people
really
think that
good. We're going to back it up, though. I do want to clear the air. So, a lot of people don't know what occult means. The word occult, it just means secret.
The secret.
Yeah, cult. If you look at the suffix cult, if you look at the prefix for culture, cult, cult, and vulture, that's the same suffix. But in any case, but look, you see the difference is the prefix cult, and then difficult. I mean, you gotta really study etymology. You can play it. But yeah.
known to man. Looking at this for too long will make you want to commit unspeakable crimes. A hypersigil is a more powerful version of a sigil, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a symbol. It can be like a song or, I don't know, man. This is some occult weirdo shit. I don't mess with this warlock nonsense. Trolls and goblins are Neanderthals.
Alright, pause it again. I'm sorry.
Myths and legends-
I do have to
the same
comment.
exact point.
I know, but I had to comment on this. So like signs and sigils and symbols. Essentially, that's letters, numbers, and shapes. Signs, symbols, and sigils. You know what I'm saying? And what is the point of a sign, symbol, and sigil? We utilize them every day.
Communication.
Exactly. So essentially, you create a representation of an energy, a physical representation of an energy, and you give individuals to bring power to it, which is their attention. And then they have to utilize whatever they're paying attention to, you get what I'm saying? And because it's the only practical thing, because it's the only thing created, everyone's going to utilize it. You know, especially if you were just born in one environment and you never seen anything outside of that. You're only going to know about that one thing that was created for you. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of sigils and magic, there's many studies on that. You could talk about Aleister Crowley. I mean, that guy, he did stuff like that. There's a lot of other guys, honestly, when you study the occult and esoteric shit. But yeah, in layman's, it's just a symbol you construct, something you construct, anything, and you give it power, enhanced by your thoughts and feelings, and it gets more power by other people's thoughts and feelings. So that's why they have amulets, runes, and shit like that. Same thing that they did in Scandinavian time, Celtic, shit like that. So yeah, you can play now.
It's all communication stuff.
Exactly.
Really based on something, right? So people think that trolls, goblins, dwarves, and all these short, ugly creatures are based on Neanderthals, and that legends of them just carried over into the modern day. Based off their skeletons, Neanderthals were shorter and stockier than modern humans, so I guess it's not too crazy of an idea. Jesus and Buddha are the same. Now, in the Bible, there's a period known as the lost years of Jesus, where the Bible didn't talk about what Jesus was doing between the ages of 13 to 30. So people like to speculate about what Jesus was doing during this time. Some people believe he studied with the Essenes, a Jewish sect who famously wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls. Other people think he went to England, and others think he traveled to Tibet, where he studied Buddhism and brought these ideas back to Jerusalem. And it goes even further than that. In Buddhism, it's believed that life is a constant cycle of suffering and rebirth. And the only way to break this cycle is by reaching a state of enlightenment, or nirvana. Siddhartha Gautama, aka the Buddha, was the first person to break this cycle, and some Buddhists believe that Jesus reached nirvana when he was crucified, thus becoming a Buddha himself. The fourth dimension,
Or maybe that's
is
why
a
he was
very hard
crucified.
concept to grasp.
Because they found out he was.
He was too aware.
Never know.
But I'm gonna do my best. So we're all familiar with 2D shapes, right? Square, that's 2D. Go up, down, left, right. Then we got a 3-dimensional shape, like a cube. You go up, down, left, right, forward, backward. Okay, still with me? Next up, we got a tesseract.
Oh,
this is a
look at that.
4-dimensional shape, and
I've never seen
yeah,
a
I don't
picture
really
like
get
that.
it either. Just like a square is part of a cube is
everything and nothing
also
at the same
part
time.
of this tesseract shape, meaning that us 3-dimensional beings overlap with 4-dimensional beings, but we can only exist in our own dimension, and they can only exist in theirs.
Yeah,
But
because
some
they
people
can,
believe that
just
these
like
4-dimensional
they can see us, how we can see 2-dimensional items and 3-dimensional items.
So like spirits on the 4th dimensional plane.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can be tapped into multiple dimensions at a time. Because a dimension is just a perception, a form of awareness. You know what I'm saying? It's a condensed form of awareness which becomes perception. Just how you're saying they can perceive us in like a 2-dimensional manner. Their perception is different because it's higher, it's elevated forms of awareness. So imagine, like when you go to sleep, or even in your waking day, you're shifting dimensions, shifting perspectives, and that's how you're able to like problem solve and put shit together. You know what I'm saying? But you're all condensing it in your 3rd-dimensional forms of awareness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very, very much so.
beings have found a way to come into our dimension. Does that make any sense? I hope it did. But how do these beings enter our reality? Through DMT, baby.
It's pretty intense stuff, man. If you
That's
do it,
the only other drug I would do.
intelligent beings from other dimensions for real.
I'm serious. A lot of people who have done DMT claim to have seen the 4th-dimensional beings, but obviously take that with a hefty pinch of salt. Schnell Online is a game, or should I say was a game, that supposedly could be found on the dark web. It was meant to function like Second Life or VR chat, except with the typical dark web clientele. The only evidence we have of this game is a 2-minute gameplay clip posted to YouTube.
So, it's just creepy in itself.
The aquatic ape theory. Now, you guys are familiar with evolution, right? It's this dumb theory that we evolved from monkeys or something. Well, the aquatic ape theory takes this a step further and says that humans actually evolved to be in water. At some point in our evolutionary history, our ancestors decided it would be easier to go in the water and eat shellfish than compete for resources with the other monkeys. And this explains certain features that are unique to humans. Like, we evolved to stand on two legs so it would be easier to wade in the water. We don't have any hair on our bodies to make it easier to swim. And I'm going to debunk this theory right here and now, because I have more hair on me than most orangutans. Dogs died. Since the 50s, hundreds of dogs have jumped off the Overton Bridge in Scotland to their deaths. Nobody really knows why. It could be paranormal.
Yeah, I've
It could
heard
be a
about that.
cult. The only thing that's for sure is that something is making these perfectly normal, perfectly happy dogs whack themselves for no apparent reason. Ancient nuclear war. You know, people are always saying history repeats. Well, I really hope that's not true, because if it is, then we're fucked. Robert Oppenheimer was one of the main scientists who helped create the nuclear bomb. When he witnessed the Trinity test, which was the first ever nuclear detonation, he said to himself, "I am now become death, destroyer of worlds." This is a line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad
Whoa,
Gita.
that is
The book
something
speaks
to
of a
say
great war
that
between
after
two
you created
princes,
a
and it
nuclear
describes
bomb.
a weapon
Wow.
that sounds an awful lot like an atomic bomb. Alright, so
He's
these are
not wrong.
direct quotes from the Bhagavad
Yeah.
Gita. A single projectile
Death
charged
is
with all the
inevitable
power
with
of the
those
universe, as bright
Hell
as the
yeah.
thousand
As soon as one is launched,
Witnesses of
and
nuclear explosions have
whoever
described
launches it
them
first,
as being brighter
it's
than the
over
sun.
for
A
both sides.
perpendicular explosion with
Because
its
there's no
billowing
stopping
smoke
it.
clouds,
Exactly.
cloud of smoke
Maybe
rising
crashing the
after
plane
its
into
first
it. Like that's what I've always theorized.
explosion,
Like
into expanding
going and
realms.
like flying a plane like straight into like the head of it. Like obviously it's a suicide mission, but maybe you can save some of the population, or it can get hit like in a different area. But even then, like there's still all the radiation and everything that comes with a nuclear bomb.
Mm. Damn. It's deep. That happened in that Batman movie. He stopped the plane. I mean, he stopped the bomb with his
With
the
helicopter?
yeah.
Yeah, actually I think that's the only Batman I've seen. I'm not gonna cap. It's with Bane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Circles, like the opening of giant parasols. A parasol is basically an umbrella, and what's being described here sounds an awful lot like a mushroom cloud to me. It was an unknown weapon, an iron thunderbolt, a giant messenger of death, which reduced to ashes an entire race of the Vrishnis and the Andakas. The corpses were so burned as to be unrecognizable. That's pretty
That's
crazy,
ancient,
man. I've also
like,
seen
shit.
claims that radioactive skeletons were found in ancient archaeological sites in India, but take that with 2 scoops of salt, because I couldn't find anything credible on it. But going back to Oppenheimer, he was asked by a reporter about the Trinity test. They said, "Was it the first ever detonation of a nuclear device?" And he replied back, "Yes, in modern times." So, is it possible that we nuked ourselves back into the Stone Age and we didn't learn our lesson the first time over? Is the Bhagavad Gita a warning to future generations? I don't know, but again, let's not risk it. Neanderthal supremacy. Nowadays, we typically associate Neanderthals with being dumb cavemen that were genetically inferior to their human counterparts. Neanderthal is even a word sometimes used to call somebody dumb. But science has shown that Neanderthals actually had bigger brains than us, and they knew how to use fire and made some pretty sick cave paintings. This idea is going to come
I
up
don't
again,
know about
so-
that one.
Who knows? Let's explore it though. You go. What are you saying? No,
It's because within I don't know the exact days, but the human brain expanded double within a certain amount of years, and it was really rapid for like the development of humankind. And some theorists out there also relate that to psychedelics and shrooms, which like the whole like community would eat them at the same time, because obviously you're gonna follow your leader, right? And if they say it's good to eat, like it's healthy or safe, whatever, everyone's gonna eat it. And they say with that, all of them would like trip. And if you guys don't know psychedelic psyche, yeah, all that. I'm pretty sure he's explained it before.
No, but you can go into detail.
Nah, you can.
I'm crying.
I just don't want to mess it up. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
This nigga.
Yeah. Don't know vastly enough to talk about it. But yeah, they say that. So I don't know how the Neanderthals had bigger brains than us. If the human race brain expanded so rapidly within those certain amount of years.
Hey, Carissa Killjoys. Hey, how you doing?
Keep it tucked away in the back of your brain. Your inferior Homo sapien brain. Yaldabaoth. So we've established that in Gnosticism there's a higher, unknowable God, and there's a lesser God who created our world, known as the Demiurge. The name of the lesser God is Yaldabaoth, according to Gnostics. Human chimpanzee hybrids. Oliver the chimp was a chimpanzee discovered in the Congo in the 50s. But Oliver was no ordinary chimp. He was bald, walked on two legs, and had a flatter face than his chimpanzee counterparts. It's still believed by many to this day that Oliver was what's known as a humanzee, or a human-chimp hybrid. And I don't even want to think about how this mother sucker was conceived. But apparently, there's been multiple experiments over the years attempting to create a humanzee. In the 20s, Soviet scientist Ilya Ivanov attempted to create humanzees on multiple occasions by inserting human sperm
Oh my god.
into female
He said not
chimps.
much vibing
And
out,
that
playing
worked.
some
So he
games.
tried
What about you
reverse-
guys?
he tried
Listening to
injecting chimp
conspiracy
sperm
videos,
into
commenting
human
on it.
ladies. But this was too much for even the Soviets, so they exiled him to Kazakhstan. Similar experiments were carried out by the Chinese in the 60s. But the craziest case comes from Dr. Gordon G. Gallup, a psychologist at the University of Albany. He said that a co-worker who worked at a lab in Florida was part of a humanzee experiment. The scientists at this lab were actually able to create a successful human-chimp chimera back in the 1920s. Quote, they inseminated a female chimpanzee with human sperm
What
from
the
an
fuck?
undisclosed donor and claimed not
I
only
doubt
that
it was
pregnancy
the way they're saying it.
occurred,
I'm pretty sure they did some tomfoolery over there.
Some unspeakable deeds.
Exactly.
In a matter of days or weeks, they began to consider the moral and ethical considerations, and the infant was euthanized. A bit late
nah,
for
that-
moral and ethical considerations at that
It
point.
took a couple days after doing it to think about it.
Because maybe they were gonna test the DNA after.
Oh my god, bro.
I don't know.
This
It's
is
just my
ridiculous.
little theory on that.
This is crazy.
They're actually trees. You see, these things that we call trees today are actually just bushes or saplings of the real trees that no longer
Yes,
exist.
I really believe this. I'm so glad he's getting into that one because there was giant trees there used to be, and we've talked about this.
Like the redwood trees.
But much bigger.
Much bigger.
I'm talking. We've talked about this on stream before. They showed you in Avatar: Last Airbender that tree that was calling him to the forest, and that ended up just sucking him in because there was so much spiritual essence. It had life. It was calling to him, the spiritual calling to him. Obviously, because Avatar is the bridge between the spirit realm and the physical realm, so he's prone to more to see and communicate with the spirits than average individuals. But in any case, let's go. Let's see. If you guys remember that episode, I remember that episode. But,
Oh, you're gonna pull up the episode.
No. I'm just gonna pull up a picture of one of these giant, ancient trees. I can't really think of one. One, it's like Saint Devil, something Devil. They named it that, but it's a giant place and people visit it. I can't remember exactly where it's at. We've talked about it before. I showed you guys on stream. I just can't remember. Look, since I searched up giant ancient trees, I got the type of images I wanted to see. So, let's see. Devil's Tower National Monument. So that's
That's a stump.
yeah. And it basically was cut off type shit. I'm gonna have to turn the brightness down and shit, guys. on Durkio. See, and there's many of them in the world, bruh. Like, there's many of them. But they might not have all the images and shit. But I know this is another one. See? I mean, what does it look like to you?
I mean, it's a stump. Like I said it.
I'm telling you. But yeah, you can play it.
Let's see what he says about it.
We're 2 miles wide and 40 miles tall. Nothing like these pussy-ass trees we see today. But unfortunately, due to some unknown cataclysm,
Go back to that.
we're 2 miles wide and 40
Pause it.
miles tall. Nothing like these
2 miles wide and 40 miles.
Fuck, open your phone again. I accidentally hit the button. Say, may I ask
You
how
want the
old you
video
guys
name?
are?
You need to lower the brightness.
Should we tell them how old we are? Should we tell them how old we are? They're curious.
Yeah. It's just age.
Yeah, we're 21. If you wanted to know. Actually, on the dot.
Yeah.
And we're both the same age. So, yeah, this instantly reminded me of the tree of Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil? in ancient Norse mythology. Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind. Just wanted to show you guys and talk about that.
Pussy-ass trees we see today. But unfortunately, due to some unknown cataclysm, all our once tall and proud trees have been destroyed. And the only remnants of them are these mountains. You see, flat-top
Yeah, he just showed.
mountains are actually
showing
the
them.
stumps
Take it back.
of the real trees. And proud trees have been destroyed. And the only remnants of them are these
Okay.
mountains. You see, flat-top
Turn the brightness
mountains
down
are
just a little bit.
actually
Turn the
the
brightness down.
stumps of the real tree. And proud trees have been destroyed. And the only remnants of them are these mountains. You see, flat-top mountains are actually the stumps of the real trees. Boltzmann brain. So think about how
help
many
me.
things need to fall in exactly the right place for an individual to be brought into this world. The Boltzmann brain thought experiment says that the odds that you exist are so astronomically impossibly small that it's actually more likely that you're just a brain floating in a void imagining all of your reality. Immortality-induced amnesia. This is related to quantum
You didn't use
immortality.
any?
As I said, every time you die,
No.
you create an alternate
How could you
timeline
say
where
it?
you live. But
No,
you
I have
can't
some more in
remember
there.
your
Like,
previous
I gotta
life.
check this out for today.
Oh, I should have wrote it
The
down.
internet was
It's okay.
discovered. All
It's
this
okay.
is
Don't
saying
worry.
is that the
You
internet
guys
has
don't
always
know.
existed in some form, and it was discovered, not invented. Singularity already happened. The
We do
singularity
have to get-
refers to a moment in time where
I gotta wipe the
technology
table out
will
there.
become uncontrollable. An AI so advanced that it surpasses human intelligence, thus making us redundant. At which point, humans will merge with machines and will upload our consciousnesses to a database, allowing us to basically become immortal, but virtually. Now, this sounds like some
If you ever seen that movie Transcendence, that's exactly what happened in that movie. Came out years ago. That's exactly what happened in that movie. It was some guy, he spent his life designing some shit, and then he actually figured out a way to convert his spirit into the machine that he created to keep him alive forever.
Some people theorize that that's what all AI is. It just spirits into electricity, I guess. No.
Exactly, because your spirit is electricity. That you're just seeing a representation of it, because that's condensed energy. That's what electricity is. You condense and encapsulate it. You know
And
what I'm
that's
saying?
why you get like so accurate answers or so like real answers. Like you're like, oh, this is a little too like advanced, but it's all the human brain.
shit out of a Black Mirror episode, but people think that it's already happened. Like, our lives right now are just digital and uploaded to the Matrix by our real selves. Iceberg psyops. So these iceberg charts are intentionally putting out disinformation to confuse people. Wait, but that would mean I'm a psyop. Do I even exist? Is this a simulation?
Marcus is a connoisseur of anything
Ads.
that's free. So he was happy to read the disclaimer.
Sentient planets. You may remember from the criminally bad film Avatar, Not the Last Airbender, that the planet Pandora turned out to be a living being or something. I don't know. The movie was so dog shit. I can't.
Bruh, I'm pretty sure you're gonna want to talk about this. He really doesn't, but I'm pretty sure you will. I'm pretty sure you would want to talk about this.
What happened?
Exist? Is this a simulation?
Right after this. Yeah, he rickrolled us.
Sentient planets. You may remember from the criminally bad film Avatar.
It was
the
not a
Last
bad film, but okay.
Not at
that
all.
the planet Pandora turned out to be a living being or something. I don't know. The movie was so dog shit. I can't even remember the plot. Anyways, people think the Earth and other planets might actually be living beings instead of just rocks. James Hutton, known today as the father of geology, once said, "Earth is a superorganism, and its proper study should be physiology."
Pause it.
Hey, that works out
This
for me
is
too.
not a theory. It is completely fact. Even the planet that we're staying on, they call it the plane that's a net. It's like a web, but you'll never really see an image of it because they only show you CGI images of a round planet that's not real. But anyways, it's not flat either, like I just explained. But in any case, look, it's a being that we're on, and each individual continent is other beings that like microorganisms within that macro being, and then we're even more macro on that scale. And then you get to islands and then countries and cities and so on and so forth. You get what I'm talking about?
And so we get to our macros.
And why do we have the 7 days? It revolves around the 7 planets. Sunday is literally the sun day. That's where you worship the sun. That's why they have Christianity and shit like that. And then you have Monday. That's the moon day. Oh my God, I hate Mondays. Garfield, head ass. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going into yourself and shit like that. It's a reflection of yourself. That's real like moon shit. You know what I'm saying? Emotional stimulation and shit like that. Then you go into Tuesday. Mars Day, big Mars Day. Then you go to Wednesday, that's big Mercury Day, day of communication and shit like that, exaltation. And then you have, oh my God, Thursday. Whoa, oh my God, no, it can't be real. Oh my God, Jupiter, oh my God. And you have Friday, which is Venus Day, which is like love and shit like that. And Jupiter is known for expansion and grace and things of that nature. But yes, and then you have Saturday, which is Saturn's Day, which is what they commonly construct as Sabbath day, Satan's day, shit like that. Saturn, Satan, the same things they be going through. But yeah, any case, yep, it revolves around the 7 days. And why is that? Because those are the spirits that were here that accumulated enough awareness while they were here to be able to transcend to another shape and form and still have enough influence to impact our environment. So that we're constantly getting hit by their energy fields. That's what astrology is tracking. And then if you're a real astrologer, you know how to read the energy and help other people out and help yourself out and shit like that. But yeah, that's what's happening. Yeah.
I knew you wanted to talk about that.
Not only do I have a degree in geology, but I have a degree in physiology too. I'm the most educated man in the world. In the 1970s, James Lovelock put forward the Gaia hypothesis, which he based on research by Hutton, and it stated that not only do animals and plants get always
Yeah, I feel the moisture. Yeah. Feel it. It's not dry. There's only like 10 more minutes in this video. I know we've been streaming what? Not long, right? That's how I felt.
They said, may I ask, sounds cool. You guys rolling? Yep. Definitely. And he said, I'm 26, LOL. That's nice. No need to worry about me. XD ain't gonna do shit. I do this myself.
Like this?
To be honest, I don't look 26. People say I look 15. Question. Juice WRLD fan. Definitely a Juice WRLD fan. I love Juice WRLD. His spirit is with me every day. I feel that Juice WRLD helps me create all my hits. I actually just released a new song the other day. Socrates, all platforms, GBX Wonder. You can Google me. Real crazy shit. Yeah. Oh yeah, what do you say?
Another wipe down, though.
And also, I'm a female. Okay, that's good. I kind of felt like your name was feminine, but I didn't want to assume. That's nice to know. What's up? What was I about to say? Also saw Juice WRLD perform the year he perished in the summertime at the Anthem in DC. I saw him in Ski Mask perform. It was amazing. It was sold out. I actually have a video of it, but yeah, it was awesome. Thanks, man. Good idea. What's your Twitter? JBX the Angelic, like JBX and then THA Angelic. But if you search up JBX Wonder on Google, it's gonna pop up on my social medias. I have a super link. It's called ffm.bio. If you go on any of my social medias, it's that link and it has every link on it. So yeah.
He even created a new programming language based on C called Holy C. Now, this was not just a regular schmegular operating system. It was also meant to be the third temple in the Bible. Terry claimed that God spoke to him and told him to rebuild his temple. He also suffered from pretty severe...
I don't even use Twitter like that, to be honest.
He ended up living on the streets until about 2018, where he tragically passed away after getting hit by a train. Man, this is like one of the saddest stories I've ever heard. But some fellas on 4chan believe that Terry's mental decline wasn't the result of mental illness, but rather brainwashing by the CIA. Terry, according to them, was a part of MK Ultra, and Temple OS was actually a tool that the CIA wanted to use as a backdoor to gain control of people's computers. And when Terry thought God was speaking to him, it was actually the CIA feeding him information. Maui statues are a warning. Easter Island was
Wow.
one of the most secluded and closed-off civilizations of all time. The Rapa Nui people who lived there were basically in their own miniature ecosystem.
Back this up.
Luckily
We're
for
gonna
them,
listen to
the
this one
island was
again.
Yeah.
programmer who set out to build his own opera.
About the Easter Island, like those statues, it's crazy how they thought it was just heads in the beginning, and then more recently is when they actually dug them up and found out they're actually full like statues.
What?
You didn't know this, bro? Like it's not just the head; it's like a full statue.
That's crazy.
System, which he called Temple OS. He even
Maybe he
created a
talks
new
about it.
programming language based on C called Holy C. Now, this was not just a regular schmegular operating system. It was also meant to be the third temple in the Bible. Terry claimed that God spoke to him and told him to rebuild his temple. He also suffered from pretty severe schizophrenia, which got worse and worse until at one point he ended up living on the streets. Until about 2018, where he tragically passed away after getting hit by a train.
Nah,
What the
speaking
fuck?
about people living on the streets, like some of those people out there that I've seen videos of, like, people are like, oh, look at this crazy man. I don't know, some of the stuff he has to say, you might want to listen to. So, I'm not saying every single homeless person out there. There's some actual ones that don't know what they're saying, but it's very rare where you find the ones that actually know what they're saying. And it does sound really crazy, but they're the ones that know more than us.
Could be on to something. You know what I'm saying?
But some fellas on 4chan believe that Terry's mental decline wasn't the result of mental illness, but
Sounds
rather
terrible.
brainwashing by the CIA.
Damn, bro.
Terry,
Yeah, it must be the
according to them, was
blend.
a part of MK Ultra, and Temple OS
Should've mixed it better.
was actually a tool that the CIA wanted to use as a backdoor to gain control of
I
people's
should've-
computers.
I
And
really
when
need
Terry
more
thought
funnel.
God
Funnel
was speaking
helps
to
all
him,
of it
it was
burn
actually
all
the CIA
together.
If you put a
feeding
little bit
him
more gas in there,
information.
it would've been
Maui
stolen,
statues are
bro.
a warning. Easter Island
You know it. Come on.
one of the most secluded and closed-off civilizations of all time. The Rapa Nui people who lived there
Bro,
were
but you
basically
look,
in
it's
their
already
own
halfway done.
miniature
This- I
ecosystem.
hit
Luckily
it
for them,
twice.
the island was rich with natural resources.
This is
and they were able
true.
to thrive
Like,
for
in
hundreds
one
of
pass,
years.
like, 2
But when
hits.
the island was
But also
later
saying the funnel
rediscovered by
helped
Captain
down
Cook,
for it,
the
too.
place was
No
desolate. The entire
cap
place was
there.
You had
covered in
funnel.
trees
Not
and rich
enough.
soil, perfect for farming. But those days were long gone. The people of the island basically exploited the
Might
shit
need
out of
to
their
hit that
natural
bong again.
resources and became overpopulated, which eventually led to their downfall.
Here you go, bro.
So it's believed that the famous Easter Island heads are actually a warning to the rest of the world to not repeat the same mistakes. After all, this could be just a small scale.
I hope I'm
version
right about
of
the
what potentially
Easter
happened to
Island
all of
though,
us.
because I
Michigan
did see that
blowhound.
somewhere,
So
but I'm not too
blowhound
sure
is
where
when
I
you
saw
clip
it.
through the floor in a video game and then you're outside the map and everything around
He
you
said,
is blue or gray.
I
Some
found
people
it. I
believe
scrolled
that there
down. He
exists
followed me.
somewhere
Thank you. I
underground
normally
in
play
the United
Rust.
States, a portal that
Kinda
when
I
you
do
walk through
games
it, you
sometimes.
basically clip out of reality. So it's like an entrance to another universe or dimension.
Never
or
played
plane of
Rust, though.
reality. And people believe that it's under Michigan because Michigan is known to have a large series of underground tunnels. Bacterial civilizations. A group of divers off the coast of a Greek island discovered what looked like the ruins of a Greek city underwater. They discovered ancient stoneworks like cobblestone floors and what seemed to be the bases of those Greek pillars. Except these things were not created by Greeks. They were created by bacteria. And I know what you're thinking. What's the difference? Well, these microscopic organisms were able to somehow create these structures, and I refuse to elaborate on how they did it. But some people think that bacteria are much smarter than we previously thought, and that they're showing signs of evolution. The real purpose of the lottery is to catch time travelers. That's it. Boltzmann brain. So think about how many things needed to fall in exactly the right place for an individual to be brought into this world. The Boltzmann brain thought experiment says that the odds that you exist are so astronomically impossibly small that it's actually more likely that you're just a brain floating in a void imagining all of your...
Hey, it's Justine, and today we are checking
I thought he was gonna say the numbers. I forgot the fucking number. That's why.
Toolkit.
But it's like a one. Like you can win the lottery like 10 times over before you can be born. Some shit like that. Like the Mega Millions.
Apparently, in Hinduism, your solar plexus holds a chakra which controls your emotions, and it can cause you to have negative or positive thoughts and emotions. There's these paranormal beings that manipulate your chakra and feed off of that negative energy. And the phrase solar plexus clown glider, when spoken, can make people feel sad and make them feel negative emotions. And also there's these photos that affect the solar plexus chakra as well. And it's
I don't know
really
how I would
fucking
look at
stupid,
it, but
honestly.
I
don't
did look
even
at
know
I
it.
why
mean, the
I'm wasting
solar
my time
plexus
with this
is
one.
essentially like your internal fire. It houses your confidence. It's located in your stomach area. And I mean, I guess that image was supposed to be like the scariest, so to put fear. So
I'm pretty sure that's just like some edited like thing that to like just to picture it, but like the real ones aren't really shown like that.
mm,
But there is speaking on that, like you never
Yes, I
really know
stream
what
often.
it is like that could do that unless you were able to see the energy, and only certain people can do that. And the people that can see it or the people that want to control can obviously put that everywhere, and so that you see it and they're just absorbing your energy.
listen to him.
I don't know. Just
Monolithic deep
Out
state
there.
claims that Neanderthals not only did not go extinct 40,000 years ago, as we were led to believe, they survived into the modern day. And not only did they survive, but they thrived. And they're currently pulling the strings of society. Like, instead of lizard people or Jews or the Illuminati, it's Neanderthals that control
he's serious about the Jews. He wasn't saying that as a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, just making
In this book, he described experiments that he conducted where he had two samples of water. One of them was exposed to positive thoughts and speech, while the other one got called a synth
Just like the
and was
plants.
screamed at. The
With
water
plants, you
sample
can
that
do the
was
same
handled with
thing.
love
And I've
compassion
I see a lot of like different shit, like stories and podcasts and all this shit. But Lord of the Brightness. About like even talking to your plants and everything. Like there was one story that I saw about some person that was tripping on shrooms, and it was like their whole trip. But those shrooms that they ate that one time were the ones that they grew themselves, and she said that the shrooms actually talked to her when she was tripping on them, and she was like, "Oh, thank you for caring for me so much," and blah blah blah. Like I can't say it word for word because I don't remember, but yeah.
And this, I believe, is very true, very real. I used to grow plants. I used to talk to them, give them a lot of love. I grew them in my room. They were very healthy. I mean, some plants I had died. I had basil in there. That stayed, lasted forever. I had aloe vera. That was healthy as fuck. Everything was healthy. I had some crazy plants. Crazy plants. Oh, vanilla. I had pure vanilla bean in that bitch. Yep. Bruh,
Wow.
I used to grow
Did
a
you
lot of
pod?
shit. Huh?
Did you ever get pods from it?
No. I didn't have it long enough. But I did have it for a long time.
That would have been crazy
And
because
then
them shits are expensive.
what happened is I left.
And no one took care of
I
it.
had to get no. I used to tell my dad to take care of them. He used to take care of them. But then when I left this time, I got rid of them because I didn't.
You knew you weren't gonna be back for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you know.
has visually pleasing ice crystals, while the one that was called racial slurs
Said I'm in
had
college
ugly,
too right now, but yeah.
distorted
Oh
ice
yeah.
crystals. The pyramids were built
Yeah, I
as
play
a
Rusty
reminder.
because it's
This is
made
saying
like
that
that.
Egyptians didn't actually
Really?
build the
That's
pyramids, that
crazy.
they were actually built by
Are you
previous,
good?
more advanced
I don't know anything
civilization
about the
who
game.
was wiped out, and they built the pyramids as a reminder of their greatness. Source code for the brain. All right, this is going to be a little complicated to explain,
Oh, okay.
especially since
And
I'm no
since
expert.
he was just talking about the pyramids, let's talk about the Sphinx. They say that the Sphinx wasn't actually a Sphinx in the beginning. That it was like a lion. No, fuck, I think it was a lion's head. I could be wrong, but that's why like it doesn't like match up so well, and that's why that is more eroded than the body. And they also say that surrounding the Sphinx, because they dug it up more, more recently too. They dug up the Sphinx and they found hella water damage, like, and you know, where's the Sphinx located?
In Egypt.
Yeah. So, but they said, and Egypt hasn't seen rainfall in over 500 years.
Because
it could be long. It's way longer than 500 actually, but I forgot the amount of years it hasn't seen rainfall, and especially to the degree that it needed to be in, because it was rainfall for hella years constant.
And they said something about the now river being dry. I think it was something about a curse. I don't want to paraphrase it because I don't know the details. But they said like it was cursed so the Nile River will forever run dry. And like, there's something prophecy about it coming back when the Nile River floods over again and the rain drops. Something like it'll be like a new age or some shit. Something along those lines. I don't know the details, of course.
On the human brain. Oh wait, yes I am. So on a very basic level, your brain is controlled by a neural network made up of neurons. And these neurons are like nodes that receive an input and then communicate with each other and spit out an output. For example, let's say somehow Franklin the Turtle pops up on the television. My brain takes Franklin as the input and outputs visceral hatred and anger, right? So computer
He hates that
scientists
show, I
for a
guess.
while now have been able to replicate how our brains work in artificial neural networks. This, combined with advances in medical science, like being able to 3D print organs, makes it seem like it's only a matter of time before they create an artificial human with thoughts of their own. And if that's not the most terrifying thing you've ever heard, then I don't know what is. Father Etneti's chronovisor, again, last video, I talked about this last video. Pellegrino Etneti was an Italian physicist and priest. It was claimed by Father Francois Brunet, a fellow priest who was close to Etneti, that in the 1950s, Etneti, along with a team of scientists, were able to create a device that could see into the past. The Vatican would later destroy this device out of fear that it could be used to expose state secrets. Internet is dead. You guys remember YouTube back in the day, back in 2016? Filthy Frank, H3H3, iDubbbz, Shoe Nice.
Okay, I didn't know that one.
I've never seen that guy on YouTube. I don't think I want to.
Nah.
That's
This
crazy.
is the only video I want to see of him, I guess. Are you feeling, bro? It goes on, bro. Like, why are we watching this whole video?
Now, YouTube and the internet in general is just a watered-down version of what it used to be. Well, there might be an explanation for this sudden shift from the golden age
I don't know if you
into
want to
what
hear
I
this.
like to call the caca age
How you
of the
feeling, though?
internet. According to some people on the internet is dead, and that's not a euphemism. Like, the internet that we once knew does not exist anymore. In a concerted effort between big tech companies and the government, algorithms and bots were deployed to change the landscape of the internet as we know it. So most of the top posts you see on Reddit, most videos on YouTube, most articles, like pretty much everything on the internet is bots. It's not even real people. Yeah, like Mr. Beast, he's not real. He's an AI. Joe Rogan, the real Joe Rogan, died of a DMT overdose in 2009. Since then, it's been all AI. Think about it, bro.
I don't even think at that
How
age
is
he was
this
doing
man real?
DMT.
How is this a
Because he
real
was
human
really
being?
against.
It's not.
He was
And the main
really
objective-
against drugs, weed, and all that, up until he started trying them and actually finding out like the truth, I guess, like, but behind them. He really loves psychedelic mushrooms now.
Yeah, we can go outside on that note. But yeah.
All this is to push propaganda and coerce actual users into purchasing products. All religions are the same. This is actually
Pause it.
theory that says no matter what.
I stood up and actually hit me more. Okay, that's my one. I can stay out there.
Push propaganda and coerce actual users into purchasing products. All religions are the same. This is actually a pretty interesting theory that says no matter what religion you ascribe to, you're worshiping the same God. I already talked about the connection between Jesus and Buddha, but some people believe that the reason different religions exist is to be compatible with the cultures and traditions of different areas. And at the end of the day, these are all different paths that lead to God. Well, except for Scientology. God's
Scientology is something on its own self. Like, them Scientologists, like, they're really something.
High-strung theorists.
Yeah. In the nicest terms. Wait, what did you want to say about all the religions are the same?
What I could say is there's something to learn from all religions. They all connect to a bigger picture, a bigger idea. So, but they're all talking about the same thing. true. Just different ways, different bits and pieces of it. So.
Ego death. So when we think of an ego, we think of
5.4
people who are
hours
away from
in
traditions of
Russ?
different
My
areas. And
God, that's crazy. She says she has 5.4 hours in Rust. Says it's her job to play games. She says I do have a Twitch to drop my
Shit.
skin in the game. What?
Oh, hold up. Like, you're a streamer? Like, that's what you mean by you get paid? Or, like, it's like a job that you're testing, or you have to be good? You're very confusing me right now.
That's cool. Oh my
That is cool, though.
God.
I respect it. Just play games? Shit.
She says, oh, yes. She says she's 26. She's in college, dude. Oh. That's awesome. Oh, my God.
No, but he's about to say some shit about ego deaths.
Ooh.
these are all different paths that lead to God. Well, except for Scientology. God's ego death. So when we think of an ego, we think of people who are way too into themselves, like Andrew Tate or Kanye or my ex-wife or what have you. But an ego is just your sense of self. When somebody undergoes an ego death, it's like they lose their self-identity and become a different person in the process. Well, there's a theory that God himself, the supreme creator, had an ego death. A lot of people have noted the difference in God's personality from the Old and New Testament. So something happened that made God shift his tone. One explanation is that when Jesus was born, God himself was being born as a human mortal, and that contributed to his shift. There's also a Gnostic explanation that says the demiurge, who, if you remember, is the lesser god that created Earth, underwent an ego death when the real God revealed himself through Jesus, and it made the demiurge feel less cool. God's last wish is us. This theory says...
So, about ego deaths, like, everyone... I wouldn't say that everyone needs to experience one, but at the same time, they do. But some people just can't handle it. That's why. But it very much so that the human brain can connect more together. We all need to experience an ego death in our life.
I can agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I can definitely agree. You know, it's kind of like a deconstruction of like your sense of self-identity. It's like destroying a version of yourself and creating a new one, I guess you could say, because you have a high-end perception of the world, a new expanded form of awareness. So it's like naturally you're going to create a new version of who you are and how you present yourself to the world. Because you have a new understanding. So yeah, so that's what I think about it.
Says that God sacrificed himself and used all of his power to create humans. The despair code. I've seen a few different interpretations of this, but essentially what the despair code is something that will make a person feel, well, despair. This code will cause the person it's used on to feel depressed, nihilistic, and just basically lose all hope. Now, what it actually is up for debate. Some people think it's a literal code, like a set of numbers. Other people believe it's a set of ideas. Like, if you read enough about certain things, it will cause you to enter a state of despair. So, take it easy on the Nietzsche. And the other theory is that
I
it's
guess
a
other side
weapon,
books or some
like an
shit.
invisible gas that the military uses to make the enemy combatants depressed. The other interpretation is that the entire universe runs on a code, and if the code is found by someone, it would drive them to insanity or deep depression, because they would find out that everything is pre-programmed and planned and life is pretty much meaningless. The last entry, the final understanding, is when you finally understand that you just wasted over an hour.
He's just gonna troll us at that.
Oh, he's gonna troll. Oh God. He said, "How do you guys feel about paleontology? 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 That's the study of what? Let's figure that out.
Paleontology?
Yeah. She said, how do we feel about that? I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
But ology means the study of something. So let's find out what it's the study of. Paleontology.
Paleontology. Okay. I've heard this one. Hold
You've
on.
heard about this?
Yes. You saying it like that just made me, yeah. Fuck. I mean, it's right there. It's about dinosaurs.
Paleontology is the study of ancient life from dinosaurs to prehistoric plants, mammals, fish, insects, fungi, and even microbes. Fossil evidence reveals how organisms changed over a time and what our planet was like long ago. Interesting. So it's basically the study of Earth and the history
Yeah,
based on
because
fossil
they're
fuels.
paleontologists, and they're studying the bones. Yeah.
Yes, amongst
Yeah,
other
right.
things like animals, fungi, bacteria,
Yeah.
and plants. They're saying it's very interesting.
Okay. Talking about dinosaurs, how come we don't find baby dinosaur bones? They're all adults.
Wait, what did you say?
All the
I was reading
dinosaurs bones that we find are adult bones. There's no baby ones. How come? How so? So that's why some people theorize that the dinosaurs were actually brought here from like a different like realm or planet, something.
This is all crazy. But what if they couldn't tell the difference between what was like an adult and a child?
I mean, you can tell the difference between your bones and a child's bones, right?
This is true though. This is true. I'm sure that there's clear signs of underdevelopment and shit like that. Yeah, you're right. You said there is embryos and stuff that were found in the egg still. Oh.
Okay.
Oh. Wow. Embryos in the eggs of a dinosaur. I mean dinosaur eggs is crazy. But wow. I know nothing about that, so I can't say much, but if I had to think about it, just based off the information that you gave me, were dinosaurs real? I'm not sure. I haven't seen. I just haven't seen enough of the world to really answer that. My awareness hasn't expanded to that reach. I haven't even thought about such a thing. It's possible. Honestly.
But let's see, because do you study in that or what?
Says I only know this because I'm studying to become one. What?
Wow, that's okay.
See.
But since you're studying that, have we only found embryos and eggs, or is there like baby bones as well?
Huh. This is crazy.
Ending up in the stream. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Psh, man, you know what I can say about that? Never in my life. Imagined. Oh, no. Let me not finalize that thought. Let me just say something else, which is it makes much more sense. It's going to make much more sense. But in any case, look, everything that's an idea that is given intention and relevance to some degree, it exists. You know what I'm saying? That's why it has prevalence. That's why people know about it, and they talk about it. So everything's like real to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's really good to have an open mind and kind of explore these realms of possibilities and, just learn more about them. So, yes. But, yeah, I was just talking about in general. Oh, my God.
You said I was fine.
No, but seriously. It's just a thought it's just something I've never thought about. I mean, even if dinosaurs did exist, I don't understand, what would be the practical, what did they do to the earth to benefit it or whatnot? Why do people care about it? That's a genuine question. I don't know. 'Cause I just never thought about it because it was I don't know when they said dinosaurs existed, maybe 10, 12,000 years ago. I'm not sure. I don't
There's
even know if
different
that's right.
areas
I don't even know
for
if that's
some of
right.
the dinosaurs though as well. Like supposedly some of the dinosaurs that we know about didn't live in the same like area, like not area, times. Like these ones died off before these ones were like even there. I'm not too sure which ones are which, but man, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna get proved wrong right now.
Like she said.
What she said.
Baby bones were found in eggs, but unfortunately didn't get to hatch. Wow. That's off. It's crazy shit. Turned into boiled eggs, basically. What? Dinosaurs are a crazy thing to even think about. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's way out there. Like for me, just because I don't see any practical relevance for me to even think about such a thing. But it's always healthy to be curious and learn about new things, because you never know. It could have actually some practical you know what I'm saying, relevance nowadays. And if I did learn more about it, I could learn more about something else. You never know, because that's how things work. So, who knows? Who knows? Do you think dinosaurs existed?
Yes.
Okay, he says yes. I simply don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I get what you're saying, like how you wouldn't know, because like if you think about it, like human bones decay faster, I guess. How are we finding bones that are that old?
I mean,
But
I don't know how
ours
old
already
they
start
really are.
decaying within a certain amount of years, like, and they're already almost like, you get me?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, how would they be able to last so long without decaying? You get what I'm saying? Like, over an extended period of time, your bone is gonna decay and it's gonna go into the soil and create like plants and shit and other forms of life. So,
I know the bones are the ones that are last to go. Obviously, it's like the strongest structure.
yeah, true.
But
That's a long
even
time.
then, like how could those bones last that many years?
You think it could be their size and their density, possibly? Who knows? It's all theory. I've never seen a fossil, so I don't know. I have to see it and touch it with my own eyes to even really start exploring that level of understanding. Everything on the surface, I couldn't stand for or against it. So, you said, are you guys studying in college? Yeah, we go to trade school, culinary arts. But yeah. And you said, and that's why it shows it. LOL. If I can find and discover it, then that would be badass. That would be really crazy.
Yeah.
Said dinosaurs. Oh no, I read that one. Okay, but no, that would be insane. I don't know. Wonder how do people feel about aliens? I wonder. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything. What do you think?
Aliens, I really do believe in aliens. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that we're the anomaly.
It's interesting to explore. My ongoing theory is that certain people are aliens. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just different forms of awareness that they have access to. You know what I'm saying? And they like imagine like Earth was like a hub for a bunch of like different aliens to come from different places and incarnate in bodies and like do shit to evolve and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows? You know.
So you're saying like there's like a tiger like society or whatever the fuck, and it comes and one goes to the Earth per se and creates tigers. Is that what you're like? Am I explaining it right?
That's a good one. Yes, that's first steps. That's first levels of it. But then they learn how to condense themselves in like higher forms of awareness, like human bodies. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's why there's so many different organisms and shit, because they all came from different places in like the galaxy and shit, you could say. And this is like the hub for it and shit like that. You know, this is interesting.
You know, it's one thing that is very crazy to me, like about, I think it's either octopuses or squids. they are like their bodies. I'm not too sure. I think could be. I don't want to just throw out misinformation. That's why. Let me try to think real quick. Entertain.
He's thinking. He's thinking. He said, "Well, now I want to get high and have no edibles. That is really sad. Sad.
That's
Edibles
tragic.
are great.
Yeah.
Oof. Sad.
Created some masterpieces.
Oof. Sad. Oh my god. But yeah.
It's either because I'm not too sure. It's one of the two that I'm about to say. Either that their structures and like their genetic codes are like almost smack dab like ours, or it's it's like not even from Earth. It's one of the two. I forgot which one it is though.
That's crazy to even think about. I mean, I bet it's very likely, highly likely, I would say. But who knows, right? Oh my god. On another note, a brief moment, but I have dropped a song, and I will play it for you guys because I actually love the song.
With the music video?
Oh my god, yes, I dropped the music video too for you guys.
Yeah, I haven't
you know
seen
what?
it,
I'm so
but I
glad
saw
you said
about
that.
it.
Damn. Yes. I can show you guys the music video. Man, I tell you, that's crazy. Nice. But, oh my god. Let's see. Wait, which one is it on? Ooh, that's not good news. Okay.
I don't know any of this, bro. So
I wish I was better at this sometimes. But it's cool. That might be a little too small, but who knows? We'll have to find out. You gotta start off right.
I'm praying flames. I can turn turn you, I'm just turning things. And I'm just cool right now, but I'm really trying to sing. There's some shit that's on my mind, I wanna get it on my chest. Told you about the power, you gon' want me. Told you about the light, they gon' told you about the power, she gon' want me. Told them they gon' lie, she gon' fall for me. I'm so on my back, playing apple seeds. Breaking through the walls, took a piece of me. She just want the sauce, she so started me. Started breaking hearts, now she cuffing me. Double up my bag, tryna flip a stack. Even in that box, couldn't find a match. Yeah, we in that bag, it's called talking to you. Yeah, I'm feeling solid, make it last for kids. Yeah, I'm like the one, I'm flowing like a breeze. And I swear these niggas sick, I think they got a disease. Pass through my eyes, think I'll spot you. Bitch, we lucky niggas, bitch, we do that shit with ease. And I've been really in my bag, I feel like Socrates. I feel like Solomon, we keep them masterpiece. And I swear these niggas sick, I think they got a disease. Just like the wind up in this bitch, I'm finna breathe. So I'm gon' let my tourists send that bitch to make believe. We've been doing some shit lately that they can't believe. And honestly, if it's up to me, I'm in the 17. Niggas sick, they got a disease. Pass real quick, they do it easy. I got 'em at ease. We gon' grow just like the shit without some lean. In the block, we know we rap, we in this bitch, we know we shine. Bitches trap, it's snowing, all the stars aligning. Bitch, we fuck with me, you might run and find them. Told you about the power, you gon' want me. Told you about the light, they gon' told you about the power, she gon' want me. Told them they gon' lie, she gon' fall for me. I'm so on my back, playing apple seeds. Breaking through the walls, took a piece of me. She just want the sauce, she so started me. Started breaking hearts, now she cuffing me.
like the video was better than everything though.
You like the video?
Yeah.
You like the video? I thought it was like I actually really like how it all came together. I think it's like a good story. Like speechless. But yeah, that's my music video. I released that today and shit like that.
About like almost 5 hours.
Yes. So yes. Are you on Insta? Yes. I have a lot of Instagrams. But my main one would be JBX Wonder, JBX the Wonderful. I'm the most active on JBX the Wonderful, to be honest. But yeah, it was pretty awesome to do all that and make that song with Light. He's great. I did that actually live. There's actually a video on my Instagram. I did it on Instagram live. I recorded that song actually, so that was pretty cool. But yeah. Yep, that happened. But in any case, anything else you got in your mind?
No, I just gotta take a shit, honestly.
We could conclude.
We could.
We have a good hour and 31 minutes of what they would call content.
Oh, content.
So yes, this was amazing. Very delightful. I very much enjoyed the stream. Yes, 10 out of 10. We explored a lot of theories. You think it was a lot of theories?
Yeah,
I think it was a lot of theories. And it was very interesting to say the least. I'm gonna post it on YouTube. I love you guys so much. You said mine is my name here. I'll search you up and I'll add you. No doubt. I mean, follow you because it's Instagram. But yeah, you take care. Everyone have a wonderful day. JBX Wonder out. And
Later, guys. Chef step, bro.